Technical difficulty.
All right. Got the music. I was gonna play the original music, but
Well,
you know.
it it was technical difficulties.
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
this is why. That's why can't have nothing. Nothing
yeah.
nice.
It's been 2 years of technical difficulties. So
Technical difficulties, figure it out, man. We really have to figure it out, man. This is what's going on, man. It's 3 years. We're gonna talk about 3 years, man. You know what I'm saying, man. We had a little notice saying, hey, what's up, brother Herm? What's going on, man? Hey,
hey, Herm.
you guys are celebrating your 3 years. I'm like, dang, man, 3 years. That's
Yeah,
crazy, man. That's
three
crazy, man.
3 years, man.
Yeah, yeah.
3 years when our when our when our lovely sister said, "Hey, you guys should really do this."
You're right. Yeah, yeah. That's really how it started. You know what I'm saying? We was like sitting around and like, man, y'all should just really have a podcast, because
Yeah,
we mainly talk about politics, our family, how it is, whenever we get together, we're eventually going to talk about politics. I think
right.
it came from my mom, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate your brother, man. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
We still got work to do, you know what I'm saying, but it's about the journey, you know what I'm saying? But it was just an you know, we always talked about politics. That's all we talk about politics, social issues. We get on the phone with each other, and that's what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Talking about what's going on. You know what I mean? What's out there? You know what I mean? And the main thing we wanted to do was just give information. You know what I'm saying? Uh, in a world where there's no people don't give information, but or run away from information or run away from tough topics. You know what I'm saying? Um, we have people had these conversations all the time, but but we just decided, hey man, we'll start it, see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. Go ahead, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, man. And it's been a journey.
Mm,
Um, and some things that we know that we got to get better at, and so forth. Um, but we started this thing because our mother, um, primarily, was heavily involved, um, community wise.
mhm.
Um, she stayed in, like, you know, the city council meetings and so forth. Meeting with the school boards and
Yeah,
um,
meeting with
and
Joe Biden and
yeah,
all
yeah,
types of yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
Those are that's how we were raised, and we watched her, and we understood kind of early how one policy affects, and not voting affects a community. Um, the lack of resources and so forth.
yeah, yeah, man. It is and most definitely, I think the foundation is our mom. And um, our mom would heavily research, things. Whether it was a school policy or a government policy or a law, so a policy written at work or laws or the laws in Delaware and things of that nature, man. I mean, not only our mom, our uncle, Uncle Joe, was the same way. You know what I'm saying? Just researching, and even to a degree, man, our grandmother, who could barely read, but she could talk to you about politics. She could talk to you about what was going on, who did what, who said what, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Um, but also, I think that we're also influenced by the hood scholars that we grew up around too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men we were connected to. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah,
talked about, hey, young blood, this, that, this, that, and the third. A lot lot of the books that I got introduced to was from you remember Curtis? Remember Curtis?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
man.
Curtis.
Yeah, man. Curtis introduced me to some books, man, and that just piqued my curiosity on, of course, when I was a big conspiracy theorist, but it just piqued my curiosity on to learn, right? The main thing he was just talking about was just learning. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying?
mhm,
So yeah, man. It was, so I think that that's where we were. Our intent was like, hey, have a conversation so we can learn, learn about each other, learn about culture, learn about ethnicity, learn about politics,
mhm.
what I'm saying, without, delving too much into, you know, Will Smith smacking Chris Rock, what I'm saying? Or
Yeah,
Cat Williams, what Cat Williams said, all that stuff is like, is not important at the end of the day. It's just, time waster. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think we learned that early, just,
Mm,
you know, with the influence of mom, Uncle Joe,
mm,
um, and so forth. It's just like, at the end of the day, that's not where they spent their time. Um,
mm.
where, man, matter of fact, grandpa literally used to go buy a newspaper
Oh
and go
yeah, yeah.
sit at McDonald's for 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours, from
Mm,
breakfast time to almost noon. And
yeah.
again, he didn't graduate high school,
Yeah, man.
but he took the time out to try to know as much as he can about what was going on.
Right. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah, man. Yeah, so our uh uh yeah, we do. We sure do, man. And we working on that. I'll be working on that, with being diligent. But when we had started, it mainly, one thing I learned about podcasting about time, man. How much time you dedicate, you know, towards getting the bigger audience and towards expansion and towards all of these things, you know what I'm saying? And originally, a lot of it, I had to get past a lot of my insecurities, you know what I'm saying? About people seeing my face or, or something I say or say, you know what I mean? Like, it is getting past those insecurities, but really is about time, what time you dedicate to because at least for me, uh, nah, we ain't doing that. Nah, nah. It would blow up, all right.
Yeah.
It would literally blow up. We wouldn't even be able to stay on topic. We'd be
Yeah.
all over the place, man. It'd be man, dang, man. We'd be here, there, and everywhere. Not like a Dr. Seuss book.
You
You know what
know, Anunnaki came down and they sat back and set the pyramids, but it was Joe Biden's fault that he sat back and created the policies that put the first bricks for the pharaohs to come take over.
Oh
Man, look
man.
here, Ronnie.
Oh, he's funny, man. He's funny, man. He means well, but man, boy,
Uh,
stay on topic, family. Stay on
yeah,
topic. Good lord.
and that's how we got capitalism.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And I think, for me, man, one thing like, and that's one thing, you know what I'm saying? I think that we are like naturally funny, right? But part of me was like, "Man, I do not want to come on here and be a buffoon." If the only way that you can listen to me is if I'm being a buffoon, like, "Hey, man," you know what I'm saying? Like, I just like to be naturally funny. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't trying to sit in here and, like, "Oh, man, let me come up with this joke at this right moment." You know what I'm saying? Let me make everything funny. Like, no, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it'll come off, it'll come across like how Charlemagne come across, where
Mhm,
where where you're listening to him and he's purposely plugging the joke in where it
mhm.
like it really should be a better follow-up question rather than a
Right.
joke. Like
Yeah.
it will come across that way.
Yeah, it's come across like right now, Charlamagne getting smoked because of his big back comment, he made on that lady with her 50 part thing, man. Because
See what I'm
again,
saying?
there was no point to say that. You did not have to say that.
See what I'm
Like
saying?
you could have said this something like, "Oh, yeah, this is just giving off what you call it, energy. Um, uh, 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 it's just giving off insecure energy or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
You went after somebody based off of their looks, and now you're getting a blowback for it. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Because you just
it was
kinda
gonna
like,
happen.
well, it wasn't funny.
Yeah, it was going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Because obviously, again, to your point, this is us actually, just natural. But actually, if you were around us and the drinks get cracking, start turning up.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
And you know,
especially,
yeah,
yeah,
our sister
sister,
is the
yeah.
natural comedian.
Right, yeah, she's a more natural comedian, like, more
Yeah,
natural. Yeah, yeah, like, she could be, like, a stand-up comic. Like,
yeah,
sh
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's
But the
it's
mix, we start cutting up. You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? But like, it just being on this journey and all of the things that we're talking about now,
Mhm.
is what shaped us. Oh man, I would like to have a drink with you too, man. I really would, Herm. Actually, I was trying to think about like, man, I wonder where he lived, man. Because I may take a vacation one day, you know, just up there and take you out to, for something to drink. I drink whiskey now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I drink whiskey. I don't
Hey, you
drink none of
might
that
hey,
white stuff.
hey, yeah, you go see Herm, you gonna need the blam blams, man, 'cause,
Yeah,
hey, Herm
I
live in
don't
the
know.
hood.
After talking to her, man, he seemed like, man, you want a Bud Light? No, no, that ain't beer, boss. That ain't beer. We drink
Yeah.
Bud Light around here.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he said, "Whiskey dude." Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah. Nah, he lives in Tennessee, man, but,
no, I'm messing with him.
yeah, I'm just messing with him. Yeah, I'm just messing with him. Yeah, Herm living he live in a mansion, man. He be
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Yeah, he get out, he goes out on the porch and he looks down on them people, on the poor black folk. Mm. They need some boots.
yeah. Who gave them some strings?
Who gave us I wish the trans people stopped holding them down.
Yeah,
Just messing with you. Just joking, bro. Just just jokes, bro. Just jokes, man.
yeah, no,
Nah, man,
no,
but I heard good people's, man. He does great in his
no, I
community,
know,
man. Yeah, yeah, he does great in his community, man, for his community and, for his folks, man, But
and I
that's,
and I I
mhm,
can't say, and not to cut you off, man, because I really want to say at least to Herm, thank you,
mm,
for participating. And I know a lot of times in conversations, he's trying to drive answers out. But a lot of our content is for people to do their own real research, not
mm.
not jumping down a rabbit hole.
Right,
Um,
right.
but actual research that's based on, you know, um, that's based on people that took the time out that have degrees and so forth to study in these fields,
Mm.
you know, because
Yeah.
we can't be anti-intellectual.
Right, right, right. And we gotta be willing to have those tough conversations, even if we don't agree, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
Even if we don't agree, man, it is about respect. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Respect amongst black men, number one, priority number
mhm,
one. Respect amongst men, number two. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we walk away, and we can all walk away, and then we come back. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
That's always what it is and what it's about. You know what I'm saying? You know, uh, uh, and that's one thing that I had to learn through this journey is that, man, everybody, you're not going to agree with everybody, man, and you don't. And a lot of times I'm like, all right, man, I have to tell myself like, hey, man, let people get their point across. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
As long as they are learning. You know what I'm saying? Or they could be presenting some information where other people can learn, right?
mhm,
You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? because there is, through the interaction, man, with Herm, even Ronnie, you know what I'm saying? The faithful few. And that's one thing I learned, man. Like any organization, you know what I mean? You look at Masons or any fraternity or sorority or organization, you're only going to get the really faithful few who is actually going to keep it running, you know what I mean, and keep it going and stuff like that. So, Herm and Ronnie been part of that faithful few. Even Brandon would chime in every once in a
Mhm.
while. Cuz uh, would chime in. I'm losing his name right now. Um, Wise.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Would
Oh,
chime in.
Slugger,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
other Slugger.
Yeah, the other slugger. Yeah, yeah, the other one, yeah, would chime in, man, you know what I mean? It is, man, about a, diversity of thought, man.
Yeah,
Because you are going to need the push in order to have motion, you need push and pull. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's how you get motion, you know what I'm saying? And so, so it is much appreciative of the folks, even the folks that just come in and they just look, you know what I mean? And things of that nature, man. It excuse me. It is appreciative because, one thing, because I remember one thing that says, Monique told me one time, I was like, don't discourage. It's like, bro, even if one person is looking at it, looking
Mhm,
at you, looking at y'all, that's good. You know what I'm saying? I'm
mhm.
like, yeah, man, that's really what it's about, you know.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, because at the end of the day, the intent is to get information, get
right.
information, get people have a smarter populace, black people need to vote at 70% or higher for the next 50
Mhm,
years. But have a smarter, especially for us who are 40 plus. We're the OGs, man. We are the OGs, man. And I hate to say this, but we have to be better. We have to
mm.
be better. He said his nickname. Yeah. Yeah, it's cause Amos. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man, but, yeah, man, we have to be I hate to say this, but we have to be better than the OGs that came up that raised a lot of us, man. So
Mhm.
we're leaving something, man, yeah, man. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, man. It's really about setting up the legacy for the next generation, right?
Mhm,
Because you know, if you look through time, that's the one thing that we didn't get.
mhm,
We didn't get legacy set up for us.
mhm,
Um, and I get it. People were dealing with harder and tougher times, right?
mhm,
Where it was about just putting a meal on the table.
yeah,
Um, and we have the luxury now to be able to set more focus on the next generation and not set them up to fail.
mhm,
Um, but again, our policies that we support have to back that so they don't fail.
right,
Um, you don't raise your household um, to to restrict the money, even though you know you need to send your kid to school for education to have a better job.
right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying? And you can't think the government should do the same, and then thinking that is functional to have growth. And it's 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 to really change the narrative of people say, "Oh, well, you're not going to run the credit card up and on you. What's the name? I'll run the credit card up if I got to sit back and get my daughter through school."
yeah, 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 right,
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna run the credit card up if I know that I got to get a better car to get
mhm,
back and forth to work.
mhm,
And people really got to start understanding that no, sometimes you got to run a deficit,
mhm,
but it's how you run the deficit. Because if I take that credit card or that money, or the government takes that money and go to Cancun, then that's different.
yeah,
That's different. But what we're trying to do is focus on policies that will help the children be successful, help the next generation be successful, help them to get to a actual retirement age, not work till they're freaking 75.
mm,
These are things that people have, guaranteed housing. and those kind of things because, I can't remember the bank, but there was a bank in 2017 till 2020 that was buying up more homes than actual Americans.
Mhm. I think that was Bank of America.
I think it
I'm
was.
not too sure. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'm gonna have to check.
and then turned around and only paid 3 point whatever percent of taxes.
Mhm,
This is what we have to focus on, and it doesn't matter on if you're right, left, and so forth. It's really getting down to the details
mhm,
of how are these policies affecting the outcome. If you want to change your anxiety about, am I going to be able to retire? Am I going to be able to afford to live? You have to get to a point. Yep. Thank you. Bank of America. Yeah, it was Bank of
yeah,
America. But we have to get to a point to focus on the details of the policy, and
mhm.
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I think that's when we started we again, hold on. First off, when we started, man, so, that's what we wanted to focus on, man, in Eurocentric. There's no diversity of thought in Eurocentric capitalist darkness. Survival of the fittest be killed. Eurocentric mentality can incorporate diversity. Yeah, man. I
Th-
must be Doc Hand. I'm calling Doc tomorrow.
Yeah,
Imma see if he can come on tomorrow. Yeah, Imma see if he can come on tomorrow. Imma send you a text, Doc. Yeah, must be Doc. Appreciate it. Even though somebody like Dr. Hand, man, coming on, our platform, a very bright,
yes, thank you.
intelligent black man. You know what I'm saying? Where I mean, our brother should be like, like out
Yeah,
there, man. Very intelligent, even coming on our little small little platform, man. It's been great, man. Great experience, great conversation. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm calling you tomorrow. I'm calling you tomorrow. See, if we
man,
can,
I'm gonna have to call Karen Hunter or something and say, like, man, y'all gotta get Dr. Ham on here or something.
get this man on here, man. You
Yeah,
know. Yeah. But when we started, it was like a spur of the moment thing, man. So like what happened was, I won't say I'm a procrastinator, but I have to make sure I know how everything works before I start, right? And so yeah. Hey, that's true though. That's true. It is about connection. You know what I mean? Because a lot of it is we're because today, uh, uh, because today a lot of people will just build platforms, and there's
mhm,
no context. Yeah, I mean, not context. It's just it's about relationships and who said who and who's against
mhm,
who, and you know what I mean. And I notice like it's only black people who do this. You know what I'm saying? It is
yeah,
it is man against woman. It's classism. There's a lot of
mhm,
classism that gets involved. You know what I'm saying? And then of course, and all of it is based like Doc I'm saying is based on Eurocentric thinking.
mhm,
Which is why when black people participate in capitalism, it has to be ethical, right? And it
yes,
has to be for the better benefit of black people as an ethnicity, as a
mhm,
group. If Malcolm X even said this, if you are just going to be a capitalist and open a business, and you are going to treat black people the same way that the capitalistic system exploits black people's labor, you're just another business person.
mhm,
That you're no different. You're no different. Martin Luther King was saying this where do we go from here? Chaos or community? I got the book in here, but he was
mhm,
even saying this when he was doing Operation Breadbasket in Chicago, and he was trying to tell them black people that what I'm saying, that you can't just treat black people like like white business owners treat black labor. You
mhm,
have to give them wages, and you know what I mean, and you have to giving them livable wage and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know,
yeah.
yeah,
Good,
yeah, yeah, go
great case study was Keith Lee, when he went to Houston and was talking to um a, a woman and a business owner. That was a great case study for why we have to be ethical
Mhm. This was almost
because
go ahead.
no, go ahead and ask the question.
No, this was the woman that he gave money to, and he said, "Give the money to employees," and she just took the money.
She just took the money.
Yeah, yeah. It was like
And and
$4,000 or
and
something.
again, the ethics came in. This was about trying to support a community,
Right, exactly.
not a business owner, but a
Right,
community.
right.
So the money gets spread out.
Yeah.
So then they can take that money and help someone else.
Mm, yeah,
But the lady was looking through a capitalist eyes,
right.
and now her business is done and over because she
Yeah.
wasn't ethical.
Right. To the community. She wasn't ethical to the ethnic community. You treat the ethnic community bad, the ethnic community responds. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And that's how it really should be in the black community. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be
Exactly.
creating all these individuals. Um, but yeah, yeah. But I just want to go back to how we kind of started. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was saying how I wanted to I'm like, all right, hey, look, man, we get this equipment. We could do a Facebook page. I'm doing like all this research and doing all this stuff. So I set up a Facebook page and I asked JY to look at it. I said, hey man, check this out. Look at the Facebook page. Next thing I know, it's like hundreds of people on there. They done sent it out, all these people. I'm like, whoa, 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 hold up. We weren't ready. We weren't ready. And so, yeah, man. So we just had to get ready, you know what I'm saying? How we came up with the name, you know what I'm saying? So we just like thinking of what's a good name that's unique, that stood out. And I think we were all just it was me, you, and Brian. We were all sitting around.
Mhm.
We just talked. And when we naturally talk, we always say, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Especially Brian. Brian always say it all
Yeah.
the time. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it, you know what I'm saying? That's we just always say it, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
natural to talk, but it also reflects how we communicate when we're talking information, right? We're not trying to speak all up here in a
Mhm.
egghead tone. We're
Mhm.
just trying to talk to talk to people just how we normally talk. So it's a digestible information. We don't try to change our AAVE. We don't try to, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, try to add anything to it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, it was, interesting at times, I won't ever say it's scary, but, um, at times it was like, "Man, alright, man, are we, is the information good?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 man.
Yeah, I think that's where I do have, I don't wanna call it anxiety, but um, it's me kinda stepping back and, like, taking the time out to, like, find the information, right? And, like,
Mhm,
"Man, should I really put this out there, or should I, like, is this the right," you know? But throughout the time, I started realizing it's about connecting the pieces, right?
mhm, mhm,
And you find a story here, and then you end up morphing on the same story somewhere else.
mhm,
And you start to realize that media, a lot of times, pretty much share the same information.
mhm. Yeah.
It may come from Fox News, but it'll show up on, you know, uh, CNN, and then when you go into the article, it'll say, such and such writer, and it'll be a contributor from somewhere else.
Mhm.
Um, but again, it's all of these things that you start to learn how the media um, works, and again, this is about how we got a journey to find information. You know,
Yeah.
because what we're seeing right now is the height of AI, the height of misinformation, especially through, with Iran and China and Russia, basically, having all of these bots out there and having troll farms and so forth. So we have to be careful of the information that we put out there, and where we get it from.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's crazy because, what was I watching? I was watching, man, shoot, I can't remember if it was, TYT, I can't remember, but I was watching this video and of, these folks at a Trump rally, and it was crazy how much they supported Russia, you know?
Mhm,
Like a Republican Party that was anti-Gorbachev,
mhm,
anti-Putin, and now they are pro-Putin.
mhm,
Right, pro-Putin, pro-Russia, you know what I mean? And they're really, really again they think that they think that they're like the, Confederates to where they are fighting against, America, right, for some
yeah,
ideological reason. They are anti-government, American government.
mhm,
That's where the Republican Party has transitioned to, you know what I mean?
yeah,
They are anti-American government, which is why they're okay with changing the government, which is what Project 2025 is about.
mhm,
All of this was because of Russian propaganda, right?
mhm,
That's been influencing. Putin was on Tucker Carlson. You know, Hannity's changed his tune. You know what I mean? Talking about Putin. Years ago, he was anti-Putin. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Um, and so, yeah, man, they've been just influenced by folks. I mean, even an individual like a Tulsi Gabbard, all of a sudden, because she's been proven to be a Russian agent or at least complicit, you know,
yeah,
in helping them in some way, shape, or form. Hillary Clinton called her out on the stage, on
mhm.
a stage. Um, uh,
Uh,
uh, uh,
what his name? Raphael, the NRA president, Pierre.
oh, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, mhm,
Also, same thing.
yeah,
Um, he's been over there numerous of times getting money from
mm,
them, and so you know, and you're bringing up something because you got to also understand like the ideology, the ideology that they're getting when you're talking about Jan 6 and so forth. It's a reason why you had three percenters there. Well, what did three percenters believe?
mm.
Anti-government.
Yeah, the anti-government, yeah. People who
You know what I'm
wear the,
saying?
"Don't tread
Y-
on me"
y-
shirts, that's
Anti-government.
anti-government. It's anti-government. But
Yeah.
now it's transitioned into anti-American government, like, it's very
Yes.
specific. It's very
Yes.
anti-American government, meaning they're okay with tearing down the Constitution, or at the very least, they ignore the Constitution. They have learned
Yeah.
from they have learned from their dear leader, Trump. They don't have to pay attention to the Constitution, but that's been the case for white Americans in this country
Mhm.
since the invention of the Constitution. The only
Mhm.
people that have to pay attention to the Constitution are those folks who are not the majority of the population, or the majority who majority votes right wing,
Mhm.
right? The majority of white people have voted right wing in this country since the 1960s. That's because this is how they slowly go into Christian nationalism. Christian nationalism has now turned into neo-fascism, and this is how they become pro Russia, pro Putin.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, you
It's a
know,
through line, man. But again, pick up your history books, man. It's repeating the Stalin regime. It's repeating, the Hitler's regime. You know, um, Mao. Like, yeah, like
yeah,
it all played a part when you start talking about, you know, the heavy religion, like all of those different tenets. Like it
mhm,
all played a part to them being dictators.
mhm. Wanting
What yeah.
dictator, so the Project 2025, what it would do is it would make the office of a presidency, into a monarch. Basically, it would turn the president into a king. Everything would have to go through the president
Mhm,
in order for there to be, legislation, and that
mhm,
legislation would then apply not just federally, it would apply to the states. because what is also the Republican Party doing? They're trying to take over majority of the governorships. You know what
Mhm,
I'm saying? People don't understand there's a separation between the federal government and state government. However, they share in certain things, but
mhm,
the state government does not have to do what the federal government tells it to do if it's outside of the Constitution. That's because of Article 10 in the Constitution. Which states that anything that is not in the Constitution is up to the states,
mm.
right? So the states they can decide that the states have the Constitution has 27 amendments, I think 27. I don't know where my Constitution is at. I got my
Yeah, I got
Constitution
mine in
around
my
here
truck.
somewhere. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah, I got
got
my
mine in my
Constitution.
truck, man.
I think it's downstairs. But everybody should have a copy of the Constitution of the United States of America, right? But the states have they have way more amendments than what's in the federal Constitution because of that amendment. Um, uh, Article 1, Section 8. There we go. Yeah, yeah. Appreciate that. Um, yeah, man. Yeah, whatever is not in the Constitution is up to the states. You know what I'm saying? So this is why when President Obama passed Obamacare,
Mhm,
uh, federal funds were supposed to go to the states, and then the states were supposed to set up their own Obamacare, basically, to take care of folks. Some of the states, like Louisiana, was like, "No, we're not taking none of the funds because we don't have to take any of the funds because healthcare is not in the Constitution." That's
mhm,
why right now there are southern states that said, "No, we're not going to take the federal funds to feed children during the summer because feeding children in the summer is not in the Constitution."
mhm.
And so on and so forth. Like, I- and I think next week I'm gonna try to do the basic civics lesson to try to get people to understand it don't matter if you don't like Joe Biden. That's not the point.
Yeah,
With the Joe Biden, with sixty senators, with the majority in the House, you will be able to pass progressive legislation. It won't be
yeah,
very progressive, but it will be progressive.
yeah,
It will be leftist legislation. And my last thing I'm gonna say, Clay Kane made a great point that I never thought of. You know what I'm saying? And he said that, and I'm reading his book. It's in his book, and I'm like, I didn't even think about that. Black people are the original leftists in this country.
mhm,
Right? Black people have always voted to the left. There's a misconception that black people voting Republican for that the short amount of time that black people were voting Republican, mainly voting for Republicans, that Republican Party equals right wing party today, and that not what it was when black men were being elected to federal and state offices as Republicans. They were
mhm,
the Republican Party was not a right wing party. It was not a center right party. It was a center left party.
yeah,
That's what they were. You had the radical Republicans, and you had other groups in
mhm,
there. Um, and of course you had the black men who the first thing they did was banks, roads, um, schools,
mhm,
and water.
mhm,
That's all leftist things,
mhm.
environment stuff. So next week I'll probably do a basic civics lesson. But black people have always been leftists. So
Yeah,
stop this nonsense about
yeah,
black people being conservative. That's just ridiculous.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because even when you listen to, man, you can listen to Kanye, right? The
Yeah.
things that he's actually talking about when you take out the nonsense is leftist ideas.
Hmm.
You know, he's talking about the same stuff that we as a culture have been trying to deal with, making sure there's health care, making sure that people have decent wages and so forth. But again, people get caught up in the rhetoric, which you should listen to the rhetoric because some people like, yeah, you should just not listen to it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but but the point is Um, to use him as an example, the things that he is pointing out are the things that come. You can't have those things from the right wing,
Mhm.
because the right wing has always been a resistance party.
Yes. Yeah.
You go to Nazi Germany, they were the resistance party.
Mhm.
You
Yep.
know, it,
Fascists in Italy,
yeah,
they were right wing. They were resistance.
yeah,
Anti-government. Um, you know,
yeah. What
and
was that?
that's
Pinochet.
mm,
I think that in France, they're
mhm,
right wing. But again, it's all about taking rights away from people. And again, to go back to the point of this 3-year anniversary, is we're trying to get people to understand how history plays out and connecting it to today's time, using the information that we have, and not talking points, like you were getting to, saying that, oh, well, uh black people been was Republicans before, without understanding the context of how bills were created through that party.
right, right. And understanding that we, even though people didn't talk in how we talk about politics today, leftists and right
Yeah.
wing, you just
Hmm.
you go back and you examine and you look at it, look at their policies and things of that nature, and then you put them in today's terms, and you would say,
Yes.
oh yeah, they were leftists, they were progressive, they were,
Yes.
this that they were not conservative. Okay,
Yes.
they were not conservative. The modern conservative American conservatism started around 1940. All right. I think I said this before with William F. Buckley, um, William F. Buckley, Barry Goldwater, Richard Nixon, uh, 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 Ronald Reagan's campaign manager. I can't remember his name. He's the dude.
uh
He's the dude that said, "You don't have to say the N word, N word, N word no more. You just connect it to an
yeah,
issue."
Schaefer. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Schaefer was the guy working with the religious part
yeah. He was
that
working
way.
right.
Hmm.
He gets the religious group because of
Hmm.
to turn more right wing, because the religious groups were still voting for Democrats, even though Democrats were passing civil rights legislation. So he gets the religious groups because of abortion.
Hmm.
That's how he gets the religious groups to turn to being right wing. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pull Billy Graham in.
Southern strategy, exactly. You pull
Yes.
Billy Graham in. You pull oh man, I have a book called White Evangelical. Let's see, this book right here, White Evangelical Racism. It talks about how all these white evangelical groups was pulled in. Yes, Lee Atwater. Yep, Lee
Mm-hmm.
Atwater. They changed the modern, or they changed conservative party, or the Republican Party, to be quote unquote conservative, but it's not the conservatives of, you know, before 1940. They were just really racist. They were they were Democrats that was just racist. The Dixiecrats, that was just really racist, and they called themselves conservative because they wanted to conserve. You know, when you bring on a new brand of conservatism that's still racist, but now you don't use the language, you don't use the racist language and
Mhm.
racist rhetoric anymore. You know what I mean? You take the government and you use the government against these folks, right? You know, and you start using racist language. You start saying welfare queen and crack baby and predator and the ghetto, the hood. You know what I'm
I can't
saying?
see, I can't see the white ones, but I can see the black ones.
Oh man, yeah, well, that was Trump. Oh my god. And them cooning ass Negroes were like, oh, oh man, you so funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. God, guns, and gold. That's really what the Republic in the 70s and 80s, and it transferred. Ronald Reagan become president, bang, the switch. God, guns, and gold. which is why they still you listen to any Republican or you listen to right wing radio, they still talk have them gold commercials. Yeah. If you have gold.
He's still trying to tell you that the economy's gonna crash and
Yeah.
hide in your bunkers and you're gonna need some gold bars.
Yeah, or guns, they keep talking about, they keep talking about guns, "Oh, they gonna come from your guns." When? When is that gonna happen, man?
Yeah.
When is that gonna happen? But even if you look now, look at, you again, listen to rhetoric. Rhetoric is important.
Mhm.
If anything that I try to convey over these 3 years is that, man, rhetoric is important, man. As a Mason, we learn this. What people say is important. Words mean things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Listen to what Trump is saying, man. He ain't saying
Yeah.
nothing about quality of life or issue for you.
Yes. Yep.
He's talking about the transfer of wealth up to the
Mhm.
top, kicking out anybody that come across southern border, i.e., and people need to understand something. The southern border immigration issue is not just about Mexicans.
Yep.
It's about the Chinese people who are crossing in. It's Africans who
African.
are crossing in. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you have other groups crossing in. But
Yeah,
all of these,
Honduran.
yes, yeah. All of these issues, immigration issues that people around the world are experiencing, is because of what's going on in Ukraine, the
Mhm.
displacement of people that has happened in the Middle East that America has been responsible for over the last, 50 years.
Mhm.
The displacement of people. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just that, we're not like China, where China take the Uyghurs and, and put them in a concentration camp. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
And
Um,
stick them in the warehouse.
yeah, stick them in a warehouse, force them to work.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then force their children to work as well. You dig what I mean? And so all those things, but people need to understand, man, the immigration issue is about changing demographics, man. Um, they see all these folks coming in, and also low white American birth rates.
Mhm.
They see all these things, man, and so again, like Lee Atwater said, you do not have to say N-word, N-word, N-word. You do not have to
Mhm.
say immigrant. You don't have to say the WB word for Mexicans. You don't have to say no derogatory terms.
Mhm.
You just tie it to an issue.
Mhm.
You say immigration. You say southern border. You know what I'm saying? And things
And
of
we'll
that
put
nature.
the images up.
Oh, we'll put the images up.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
crazy.
just put the images up, and you never
Yeah.
have to say the N word or,
Hmm.
the W word,
Yeah. Yeah, you never had to
Yeah.
say that. And it's crazy. You know what's crazy about imagery? I had this discussion, with somebody. So there was this bus, this bus, what they call it, the God's Army. It left from like Virginia and it went down
Mhm.
to the border. Had a religious conversation, you know what I'm saying? And I said, the conversation was about, and they were baptizing people. And I said I
Mhm.
had an issue with them baptizing people at the
Mhm.
border, because the whole point of baptizing requires context. If you are baptizing people, oh yeah, and then show, yeah, the Haitians getting whipped on horse. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what it's about, right? People need to go back. And if you go back to Roman times, well, guess what
Mm.
the Romans were doing? And the Romans were saying about the Europeans coming from the Baltic Sea, the Germanic peoples. They were using like a lot of the same language, using a
Mhm.
lot of the same language, a lot of the same rhetoric, a lot of the same tactics. Of course, they're using it for their times, but there is parallels. And America was built on, or Western Europeans government and society and ideology is built on Roman government, society, and ideology. So, I want that in there. But so they were down there baptizing people. And I said, yeah, no, that's wrong, And the person I had a conversation with was like, well, I don't know. They're basically saying, I don't know, their reasoning. I can't judge them. I was like, of course you can judge them. They're baptizing people. I was like, there's this imagery of Uncle Sam on the bus, right? Uncle
Mhm.
Sam, he's like pointing menacingly. They got this military image, people carrying AR-15s. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
"Don't tread on me" sign, they got Trump, it's all menacing and intimidating image,
mm,
and I'm like, and then you're baptizing people in the name of Jesus, and then they're picking up their AR-15 and hunting down immigrants. I was
yeah,
like, "Of course you can judge them, because that
yeah,
doesn't matter." Like, the whole point of baptism is to symbolize rebirth. You go down in the water, you got your eyes closed. When you come back up, you are to see the light and you're supposed to see the world in a new.
mm,
But you baptizing these folks and they're still seeing the world the same way.
yeah,
They're not seeing it in the new. There's no light, right?
yeah,
The whole point of baptism is that you come out, you see the sun, sun,
mhm,
sun. That's supposed to be representation of Jesus, or
mhm,
God.
mhm,
And boom, oh, the world looks different. But then this person gonna pick up an AR-15 in the name of
yeah,
Jesus. Shoot me. Come
yeah,
on, man.
yeah,
Come on.
because they're baptized, they're going into baptism with fear and then coming out with the same fear,
Exactly.
and that's all it was.
That's
Um,
all it is. That's all it
yeah,
is.
but again, this is
Yeah, I call 'em.
this is what, um, Americans are learning
Mhm,
through this previous administration
mhm.
is 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 cruelty.
Cruelty is the
Um,
point.
yeah, like it's no other way to put it. Is just to be cruel
Mhm.
to other human beings.
Yeah.
Um, and 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 again, if people can remember when Barack Obama, um, he did an executive order to penalize corporations for hiring um undocumented workers.
Mm.
Well, you want to know who was outraged? The corporations.
Yeah. Cheap labor.
Yeah. So
Cheap labor.
again, they have people
Appreciate you.
complaining. Thank you, thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, Willie. Boys over
Yeah,
at that feeling. Appreciate you, man.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just again, man, this whole podcast is based off of just trying to connect this information, man. Because you're talking
Mhm.
about almost 20, almost 20 years ago,
Yeah.
and how you can connect it to today.
Mhm.
That if you think that corporations don't want cheap labor or you need cheap labor to keep this economy going,
That's That's
that like
capitalism.
it's
Capitalism
capitalism.
requires capitalism requires cheap labor. That's
Yeah.
how the American system is built on. I remember telling somebody, like, every job in America is fashioned after the slave plantation, man.
Mm,
You have your workers, you had a foreman, supervisor, we call them today. And then sometimes you had somebody over the foreman. Most plantations didn't have somebody over. I forget what they called them, but some folks had, like, the foreman will report to that person. That person would then report to the quote unquote the plantation owner. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes they didn't. Sometimes the foreman was the one that just was a mediary
mhm,
for you know for the folks that's working on the plantation. Every and guess what they did? They kept time. They
mm,
kept time. They kept people's time. There was a time to get up. There was a
mhm.
time that you left. There was a count. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were accounted for. Hey, you better be here. But you know what I'm saying?
How much you produce?
How much you
That
produce.
yeah,
Yeah, man, like everything. Exactly. Yep, we did start labor unions on
yeah.
plantations, man. That was something that, again, my issue with Black History Month and how we talk about it.
Mm,
Maybe that's what I talk with Dr. Ham about, man. My issue with
mm,
Black History Month. But yeah, there were labor unions. Like, people when people think of enslaved peoples, they don't
mhm,
think of protesting being they would get together and be like, "Hey man, we ain't gonna pick it today." You know what I mean?
yeah,
We're gonna poison the ground, right? Because most of the plantation owners, well, at least a small, a good number of plantation owners, they were, like, literate. You know what I'm saying? They
mhm,
didn't understand how to work the ground. You know what I'm saying? But those Africans did. So they would break tools. They would, poison the crops. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Be like, "Hey, man, I don't know what to tell you, man. I can't."
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. When during the period when white women were the
Mm.
most deadliest to young slave children.
Oh, yes, dude.
Um yeah, yeah, like they they were protesting on plantations and they end up creating a law, to stop white women from basically killing young black slaves.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
again, you translate that in today's we have to have community power,
Mm.
but that community power has to be righteous.
Yeah.
It has to be righteous so we can make sure that we are taking care of the planet, the the people, um, you know, so we can have food, a place to
Mm.
live, and all of these things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's about, man. You know, um, again, being an ethnic group, and I think I think that's how we kind of transformed over the years. You know what I'm saying? Um, Speaking ethnically, you know what I mean? Like, hey, understanding that to speak. That's one thing I learned from Dr. Ham, man. Like when you speak about the group, you can't use anecdotal evidence. You know what I'm saying? You got to use data.
Yeah.
Use data, man. You know what I'm saying? And search. You search and then you research.
Mm,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you use that data, and that's how you can connect the the groups. You know what I'm saying? Conversation I had with somebody like, hey man, just because it's raining where you at don't mean it's raining where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And so, you have to be able to have the have these conversations, have them smartly. I mean, not smart. You have to have care. You know what I mean? You talk about it, you know what I mean? This is why I don't like an individual like a Candace Owens or Jason Whitlock or any of these individuals, you know what I'm saying? Because through all of this and going through all this process, you know what I'm saying? Um, the one thing that I have enjoyed, is that, been able to expand my book collection because of it, you know what I'm saying? Also reading articles, you know what I'm saying? But at times I did have to take a break, take a little mental break,
yeah,
taking a little hiatus this week. I haven't read all week. I need to take a little mental hiatus, but because a lot of information is dense and it make you think, you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? And make you keep thinking and stuff like that, man. But I
Burn you
think
out.
yeah, yeah, it can burn you out too, man. Yeah, man. But through it, man, I most definitely wanna add humor to it. You know what I mean? Same time, like I said earlier, man, I just didn't want to be a buffoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't want to be a buffoon, man, and be up here, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to crack, trying to crack jokes, telling somebody how the Constitution works. You know what I mean? To pass a bill, yeah. It's
We,
a bill.
we,
It's only a bill.
we could have been Risa Islam, you know what I'm saying, or something like that, and just
Nah,
it's
I
like,
don't even want to be a
you
reason.
know, big
Yeah,
pharma, we could have
yeah, for real. Yeah. Yeah, man,
but
I got a book
but
right now that
taking
I have to
Russian
reread.
farm money.
Oh, yeah, 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 taking yeah, yeah, taking risk, like, thinking that you know what I mean, and not being, like, egotistical, you know what I mean? Like, that's why some topics and that's the thing, like, some topics I just won't touch, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't have I know I don't have the mental capacity to understand some topics, you know what I mean? But, in that
Mhm,
case, that's how I, look at it, like, "Alright, maybe we can grow." Just find somebody who has that mental capacity who can touch a lot of those topics, especially when it comes to economics. I understand economics at a very transactional
mhm,
level. I
mhm,
understand pluses and minuses. That's it. And what I see, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But then, there is economics at a micro level, and people understand those things, Uh, you know,
yeah.
but yeah, yeah, yeah. So
No,
um
I get you. Again, we had a post that was similar today, and someone was explaining about trying to explain economics through a fiat understanding. But again, it's wrong in full theory.
Mhm.
on how the system work, even though it's fiat.
Mhm.
And like it's one of those things like what you're saying is like, yeah, like I know that you're not giving the right information, but it's too dense for me
Mhm.
to even approach it
Mhm.
because even if if I go down this road and I make one slip, everything, all the information is off.
Yeah.
Even though I know that you clearly don't know what you're really saying or understand how capitalism works through our system.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, because we are a debt system. It,
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, you get rich through debt.
Mhm. No,
That
that's real. I
one,
mean, that's how
yeah,
Thomas Jefferson, he died being in debt.
yeah, yeah,
And this man owned 600 enslaved people. He owned all these acres. He owned all this stuff. He's like, yeah, I'm just
yeah.
keep going in debt, man.
And
I'm keep going
and
in debt.
and again, that's at the basic level. You know, even Trump,
Mhm.
through his court case,
Mhm.
when they asked him, do he have $385 million in cash? He
Mhm.
was arguing that, oh, I have the cash, but he did not have the cash.
Mm.
He
Mm.
had assets.
Right. They were talking liquid.
Yeah, yes.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
again, he's a billionaire through assets, through
Mm.
debt.
Right.
And and again, he would not be a billionaire if he was relying on cash like the working class people.
Right, right, right. Working class Americans. Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's why people always have like I don't like those conversations, when people think that they're being like having an in-depth conversation.
Mhm,
The black people stop buying Gucci,
mhm,
Jordans, and stop buying it. It's like the old people.
mhm.
Well, if you weren't out here buying these Cadillacs, you weren't out here buying these Cadillacs, Sylvester. You had some money to fix up your house.
Yeah,
Like, that wasn't it, man. The black people don't have money, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
man, it's capital. It's capital. Black people don't have liquid
Yes.
funds. That means having a savings account. Having a savings account. During that real estate thing, I had to bring that up. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm,
they were like, well, but if black people went out here buying these Jordans and stuff, because Nike is a luxury brand, right?
mhm,
You know, and I like to buy me a pair of Jordans every once in a while. But I'm like, but I have a savings. Not only that, I have a high yield savings. I have my money in a high yield savings. There are
mhm.
people who don't even have a savings account.
That is true.
I mean, they don't even if they put money in the savings account, it comes right back out immediately. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? So they don't have liquid. So it's tough to tell somebody who doesn't have that, you know what I'm saying? That, oh man, all you gotta do is just go out here and do put money in Apple, put money in Tesla,
mhm.
and do all these XYZ things. And they're like, yeah, I got bills to pay though. Rent just
Yeah,
went up.
right,
Rent
right.
went up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You think
Mhm.
you think Imma sacrifice even if I had 3,000 dollars in my bank account, you think Imma go gamble that on a
Mm.
stock market?
Yeah.
Y
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like, I was talking to our fam, and
Mhm.
and and I was like, "Hey, man, stock market like gambling." And it's like, "No, no, no, it's not. No, no, yes, it is." Like,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, if you listen to the professors who basically tell you they did a study with regular chimpanzees, and they were no better at the stock than freaking people that's been working there for 40 years.
Yeah.
That's telling you right there, it's a gambling mechanism.
That
They're
that's how
trying
black
to
that's
yeah.
how black people see that's why a lot of black people don't participate in the stock market. They just see it
Mhm.
as but at the same time, some of these black folk, they'll talk about the stock market is gambling, but they'll go buy them a scratch off.
Yeah.
Hey,
That that
make it
that
make
is
sense.
true.
Make it
That
make
is
sense.
true.
Yeah, yeah. Look,
That
man,
is
I
true.
don't gamble my money in the stock market. All right, man, I stay in Atlantic City. hey, man.
Hey, man, can you box that number for me?
Yeah, box the number, they play the numbers, they'll play everything else, and I'm like, "Hey, man, look, all I'm saying it's just you gotta figure out ways," and that's
Yeah.
what the conversation is really about understanding that we gotta teach the younger generation have to make have to have multiple streams of income.
Yes.
So, whether they like it or not, they're gonna have to participate in the stock so that
Yes.
you can have some sort of multiple streams of income coming in. You're gonna have to do some real
Mhm,
estate. You're gonna have to
mhm,
have a side hustle. You're gonna have to
mhm.
do something because living has become so expensive.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I brought up. They're like, when they talking about black people ain't got money, first, the money's been taken from
Mhm,
us.
mhm.
You know, yes, learn a second language.
Ah,
Man, I'm trying to do that, man. Learn a second. I tried to learn Japanese. Japanese was hard. Uh, German was way easier because German, well, I won't say it was easy, but German was a little better because English is a Germanic language. But yes, learn a second language. But that's what I was telling I tell my kids because you can go overseas. I like think about all the people
hmm,
who don't speak English as a primary language. Yeah, they got jobs here.
yeah,
They got high
yeah,
paying jobs here.
yeah,
But it's because Americans we're like the only thing we're gonna speak is American.
yeah, yeah.
It's,
Speak
it's just
English around here.
yeah, speak English, yeah. Or even
And what's
some
crazy,
people. I'm sorry.
uh, African Americans are right behind, uh, white Americans as far as not speaking other languages. I think we were somewhere like 83% of
Mhm.
African Americans don't speak another language.
I mean, it makes sense. We
Um,
we get brought up in their school system.
yeah, 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 yeah,
We that like if they the left again, if they left black folk alone, maybe they're black folks speaking Tut. Maybe we're speaking Tut,
yeah.
right? Tut language in here in America. Maybe we still maintain, parts of our African language. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
We got them. You got them Creoles and Cajuns that speak Cajun
mhm,
French. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a financial transaction, languages.
Mhm.
Uh,
And here's a yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Mhm.
no, I was just trying to, I was just finishing it, like, it's a financial transaction, when you speak,
Yes.
multiple languages.
Yeah. And here's the thing: people need to understand why America is having issues with Russia and China right now. They're trying to take over the American dollar. Right? Really, it's China trying to take over the American dollar. If you transactionally, you have to trade oil in the dollar. Every country has to trade oil in the dollar. That's why America has so much money. You know what I'm saying? Um, but if you trade the oil in a dollar, well, guess what you also have to do? You have to speak some English.
Mm, mm, mm,
So if China takes over, you know, the yen, I think,
mhm,
and how the trade routes and things of that nature, if China takes over economically, where the yen is more popular than the dollar, well, guess what you're gonna have to learn? You're gonna have to learn some Mandarin
mhm,
if you want to be on an international stage in order to compete in the new economic market.
mhm.
So really, and this is where BRICS come in, where you had shoot, I forget who's the B, but it's Russia.
Brazil.
Oh, Brazil, Russia,
Mhm.
the I. It's not India.
It is
Uh,
India.
oh, is it India? BRICS, Russia.
Mhm,
Okay, India and China. So anyway, all of that is about economics.
mhm.
Economics. How do you affect that change? Economics. You know what I'm saying? Which is why again, America through Joe Biden, rightfully so, and we should have did this years ago, is bringing back creating chips, for vehicles in America, creating things in America. You know what I mean? 'Cause you're gonna need it
Yeah,
because yeah, the competing in the global
because
market.
they don't remember when, right after, man, slightly
Yes.
after
Go
Nixon,
go for it.
um, well, yeah, well, leading up to that. So Nixon did, it was a little bit of jobs that was transitioning out during Nixon, and then you had, like, um, you had Reagan, then they ramped it up a a little bit
Mhm,
more. Then Daddy Bush came and he just said, take off the top.
mhm,
And pretty much they started shipping jobs out under Republican Party.
mhm. Yeah,
And some happened under Clinton as well.
NAFTA.
But yeah, under NAFTA and so forth. But people gotta understand, like, Clinton, he's really he was a Democrat, but he was a conservative.
He was a yeah, he was a Dixiecrat.
Yeah, he was a Dixiecrat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a Dixiecrat. Um, shoot, I'm trying to find it here. This is Martin Luther King. Where do we go from here? Chaos or community? He talked about. I think he talked in here about what you're talking about, which was people think automation
Mhm,
in the 90s. Automation begins in the 60s.
mhm.
Oh, Glass Steagall. Yeah, that's what it was. The Glass Steagall Act.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Protection for banks. I think that's what it was. Let me see. Glass Steagall was. Yeah, that was a big one.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was, man. Yeah, Banking Act. Yeah, yeah. The bill was designed to provide for safer and more effective use of assets of banks to regulate interbank control to prevent undue. Oh shoot, I lost my page. To prevent undue diversion of funds into speculative operations and for other purposes. Right, the Glass-Steagall repeal is what led to the housing crisis.
Mhm.
Yep, yep, had led to the 2008 collapse. Yep, it led to the
Yep,
because they basically was gambling. Yep,
yep. And they
Glass-Steagall.
under Trump, they gutted the rest of it.
Yep, they
That
took out the
was it.
rest of it. Yep,
And that's
which is
why you
why.
had 200 and something banks that failed, in the last, few months ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's why you have a lot more monopolies starting to.
Yep.
Um, and a lot of the big corporations during the pandemic started buying up a lot of homes,
Mhm.
land, homes. Uh, that's why it's hard to buy land.
Mhm.
So it's owned by people with money who can now ship their money outside of America because of Glass-Steagall.
Yes.
They can move their
Yes.
money outside of America. And that's the problem. There's no people talk about um, inflation. This is why the Republican Party were upset about Joe Biden and the expansion of the IRS, because expansion of IRS means more IRS lawyers. So now they can go after the people who have millions and billions of dollars outside of America who have been avoiding paying taxes essentially, and go after those folks. And that's what you're seeing happen. But
They
yeah,
just
man.
announced that they taking the gloves off.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
take
man.
they taking the gloves off, man, and it's about time that I think it was, 55, major corporations paid under 8%, taxes, which which obviously we had some kind of, law under, Trump where he moved it from 21% to 15%. They
Hmm.
paid under the 15%. So
Yeah.
there was no corporation that paid 21%. And people gotta understand, like we posted before, where you talking about over $80 trillion passed through America,
Hmm.
but we only tax 900 trillion. I mean, 9 trillion.
Mm.
Like
Wow.
that's what you have to understand. So
Hmm.
you talking about trillions of dollars that is just not taxed.
Yeah. No, it is. That's really a lot of our problems. Um, yeah, man. I'm sorry. I was sitting here. I was trying to find where Martin Luther King he wrote this book, and he was talking about automation. You know, and in here, I have it highlighted. He was talking about, let's see, in this chapter, the beginning of the chapter is called World House, and he was talking about how the world is all neighbors now
Mhm,
because of technology. You know what I
mhm.
mean? He's saying automation is. He says here, automation and cybernation will make it possible for working people to have undreamed of amounts of leisure time. Well, that's not what happened. That was was what was supposed to happen. That's not what happened. people work more.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
That's what they told us. They
Yeah,
even
yeah, yeah.
told us when AI was coming,
Mm,
and I people don't realize we're having an AI boom right
yep,
now.
yep.
And what do you see? Your hours ain't being cut, is it?
Hours ain't being cut. And even so, and even they're forcing people back to come in work, come in these buildings. Again,
Mhm.
why? Why? So NASA can know who's on the plantation.
Yes.
That's why.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yes, we work now more than in feudal days. That's exactly. And people need to understand something, man. And this is why I say you do not have to like Joe Biden to
Mhm.
understand what the opposition is doing, right? The opposition wants to create neo-feudalism where you work and you don't own anything.
Mhm.
They bought land. They bought housing. There's still a housing shortage out there because the majority of people bought Airbnb, bought all these daggum homes. There's no
Mhm.
regulation for it. You know what I'm saying? And now, they're convincing people to go down to, tiny homes, which I probably will do, and downsize too. But
Mhm.
let's just make economic sense for me, in my
Mhm.
in my 40s. Not for a young person, you know what I'm saying? But where you are, you don't own anything. Fast fashion, right? Shein and all these other
Mhm.
things, you know what I'm saying? That things have become more affordable, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you will not own anything of value, right?
Yeah.
You won't own anything, and they want to take away your social security. You won't even own that, right?
Yeah.
Because they want to make it where you pretty much put your money in the stock. And if you don't, man, that's on you.
Yeah.
Dog eat dog. Oh well. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you
Yeah.
you ever heard the Temu jingle?
Who
Shop like you're rich. Shop like you're rich or something crazy like that. Talk
who said that?
uh Temu.
Oh, Temu? Ah, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
yeah.
They had like a commercial or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. Talking about shop like you rich.
Yeah.
And what you're explaining is just that. You're buying a
Yeah.
bunch of cheap junk and they're telling you that you're shopping like
You're
you're
rich.
rich, that you're
Exactly.
rich
Because
when
people
you can't
make
own a home,
yeah,
you won't be able to retire,
that's it, man.
and if you get sick, you
No
won't
healthcare.
be able to afford to get
Yeah.
surgery.
You won't be able to afford the healthcare. You won't be able to afford the healthcare. Like,
No.
you will not be able to own neo-feudalism. That's what
Yeah,
they're creating. It's not the haves and have-nots.
yeah, yeah,
It will be the haves and you don't have shit.
yep.
That's really what they're creating, man, and that's really what's in Project 2025. That's where, and things of that nature. That's why a lot of these folks are supporting a Donald Trump presidency because it's going to usher in this Project 2025, and this is where they're going to transform. Not on, because if you transform the government, you're going to transform you transform the society.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm.
Yeah, and so, you know what I mean? And so that's what they wanna do. So, again, you do not this is not about liking a politician. We need to get rid of this idea of liking a politics is not entertainment, man. Politics is life or death, right?
Yeah,
You know,
literally.
especially yeah, and if you don't know that being black, you know what I mean? The only reason you are an American citizen, if you are black, is because of the 14th Amendment.
Yeah.
You literally had an American government. If Abraham Lincoln had not been assassinated, he was going to ship black people up out of here to Haiti.
Mhm,
He
mhm,
was ready. He had already had a cabinet together. He said, "Hey, give me a cabinet. We're
mm,
gonna ship these folks up out of here." They send
mhm,
Frederick Douglass. They send Frederick Douglass down to Haiti. Um, Frederick Douglass like, yeah, man, we could go to Haiti. Yeah, yeah, we can go to
mm,
Haiti. Yeah, and then there was black folk like, hell no, we ain't going, Frederick. You know what I mean?
mm.
But
Yeah,
Lincoln, if he would have been alive, he'd have been like, "Hell yes, you is. Get on this boat. Get up out of here." When they should have just really gave us South Carolina.
yeah.
South Carolina. They
Georgia.
should yeah, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. They should have just gave that to all African peoples and said, "Hey, y'all just do what you wish. Do what you dare."
Yeah,
Which and then Alabama.
yeah.
Um, 'cause 85% of black people lived in the South at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Politics is war, man. It really is, man. It is life or death. It is not about this is not a glamour competition, man. It's not.
As of right now, if they gave us all of those states, man, we probably would have been in there. Build the wall. Build
Yeah,
a wall.
wall. Yeah, exactly. We would have built the
Build
wall.
the wall.
Built the
Keep
wall.
these people out.
Get him up out of here. Get him. Yeah. Yeah.
Because those societies, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, those societies, that were early in Florida and so forth before they were broken up by, um, you know, uh, the Union
Racist.
Army, yeah, racist people. Um, they were a collective society.
Mhm.
Were about bringing people in and working together
Yeah.
as a group. Um, so
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they did. I mean, they allowed a lot of the, Europeans who didn't know how to farm the land, they were dying, you know what I'm saying? They were helping them out, you know what I mean?
there was
Remember.
some Indian slave owners now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
there was any slave. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And,
indigenous slave owners.
indigenous slave owners. Yeah, yeah. And I think I mentioned this before about, doing the DNA thing, man, because of course I did the African DNA connected to a tribe, the Bioko peoples,
Mhm.
99.7%,
Mhm.
um, uh, uh,
Hassa,
DNA
Hassa.
match. Yeah, DNA match. We also match with the House of Fulani,
Mhm.
and Takar peoples over there. So yeah, people need to do their DNA, man. But through that, I'm realizing, you know what I mean? There's a lot of black folk talk about they got Indian in their family, and no, you don't. All right, it's German, it's Irish, it's Polish, it is Spanish. It is not indigenous, man. Hey, let's stay. Hey, come on now. Come on, man. Let's hey, hey, man. Look, but again, I know why people don't want to, admit to that because somewhere along the line, you have a grandmother that was raped by,
Mhm.
a European,
Mhm.
somewhere along the line. You know what I'm saying? But it was a good discovery though. I liked it, man. Really enjoyed it. Um, you know, uh, uh, discovering our peoples. You know what I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
and things of that nature. It was,
yeah.
yeah, and it's crazy seeing the facial structures because I'm like, oh man, that one, oh dang, my brother he's more Fulani than you know than Hausa or more
Mhm.
than or Takar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So facial structure, nose structure,
Mhm.
all that stuff, man. So it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
All right.
Any final words, man?
On this 3-year anniversary and election year, um, I'll end it saying this. Let, let's focus less on entertainment going forward. That doesn't mean that we don't have to have entertainment, but let's focus less there, and let's try to realign and re-educate.
Mhm.
That way, we can sit back and re-educate our children. Um, so we don't have to, so our children don't get lost on who they are.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. Yeah, 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 man. Yeah, yeah. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks to everybody that tuned in over these 3 years, man. And really keep us going, man, and letting us know we're on the right track, man. Um, it's not about building a huge platform, man, more than the information. You know what I'm saying? That we're putting out there, man. You know, um, it's to connect, it's to give us a direction. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? We need to know where we going, man. We need to know where we're going. And a lot of that is gonna be through conversation, you know. through conversation. Um, you know, uh, 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 and things of that nature, man.
And you can't
But
tell
yeah,
them that. When I had these gold and silver sneakers that I was trying to sell these Negroes, man. You can't tell them that.
the, the Trump flu games, the Trump's erection sixes,
Yeah,
Jo-
yeah.
Jo-
They were gonna be called the Constitution don't matter.
yeah, 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 man, for real, man. Yeah, man. It's for real, man. Know your location. Yeah, man. That's it, man. That's it. We have to know our location, man, and know where we going, man. And that's it, man. It's important. It's not, man. You be out here like like Fat Joe buying the hang 'em Mike Pence sixes, man.
I'm a sneaker collector. I'm a
I'm a
sneaker collector.
I'm a sneaker collector, sir. Sir. Come on,
Come,
man.
come on, come on.
Look, man. Stop like, yeah, stop. Hey, the entertainment stuff, stop listening to these entertainers, man. Please, please.
Yeah,
They do not have the best interests of the collective, of the group,
no,
of the ethnicity. They're only they're only looking at their money. They're
yeah.
looking at their money and their money connected to the entertainment. You know what
And
I'm
that's why
saying?
every election they sit back and throw a bunch of celebrities in our face on saying, "Hey, they're 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 talking to Trump. They're voting for Trump. They're like that's why they do it."
That is why they do it, man. Put out that false narrative about black people, and it ain't black folk. I mean, you talking
Yeah,
white folk who voting at 60% for the Republican Party. White
yeah, they
women voting at 53%, 55% for the Republican. It ain't black folk you need to talk to. It
yeah,
is not
yeah,
black folk. Leave us
yeah,
alone. Leave us
yeah.
alone. Yeah, yeah.
Latino men sitting here voting at 53%. No,
Mhm.
go talk to them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, go talk to them.
Mhm.
Our little 14%. Look here, we we can deal with them. We can deal
Mhm.
with them. We can deal with Tyrone and them.
Right, 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 right.
Because we know Tyrone ain't gonna show up in 2 years anyway. So
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. That's it, man. That's it, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, appreciate it, man. That's what you gotta do, man. You gotta get out there and just do it, man.
Yeah.
You gotta get out there and do it, man. Don't worry about don't try to follow other people, man. Just
Mhm.
have your own conviction of why you are doing it. What is the why? What is the why? As I had a conversation with uh 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 somebody told me, what is your why? What is your why? That should drive you all the time. You know what I'm saying? What is the why? Why are you doing it? Why are you getting up in here and looking up all this information and putting it out and you know what I mean? And cutting
Mhm.
it up and doing all everything like that, man. That's the why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, man, just get out there
And
and
be
do it.
righteous. Be
Yeah,
righteous in your journey.
yeah,
Be righteous.
yeah, 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 man. Yeah. And if you want to make money from it, you can make money from
Yeah.
it.
It's okay.
It's up to you. It's what you want to do, man.
Yeah.
It's what you want to do, man. What you want to do. But hey, man, we appreciate it. And yeah, man, we'll see y'all, for year 4.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
saying
Thanks.
we are. Oh, dang. Oh, right. Mess up anyway. I don't even know.